Dropping into this fun section. One of the few rock sections and bends. Fast and fun. Coming up to two fun little jumps, long and low, and then a double. The rhythm section. Welcome, welcome everybody. We are out on the trails, and I think a lot of you guys are gonna be very excited. There's an awesome new bike, which I'd love to do like some really awesome, unique reveal right now, like boom, look at that, but you already clicked the thumbnail, so the drama's gone. You know what we're looking at. The new Santa Cruz Bronson CC. Oh, it's a beautiful bike. It's a beautiful bike. So today we're gonna bring you out on a little ride along. This is actually our first time riding this bike. 150, 160 travel, all around party machine. Wow, mullet wheels. Oh boy, I'm excited to dive into this one. So without further ado, here's the new Bronson. First little shorty downhill, couple small tables and some berms. Oh boy. That is poppy and nice, light, lively. Oh yeah. Wrap, wrap. Oh. So far, first lap, far from having this thing dialed in, but I can say I am already very pleased. For all you guys out there who know we love e-bikes, I'm actually not that bummed I'm not riding an e-bike right now. Still climbing, shocks open. Very impressed with how solid this is, the lack of bob and bouncing. Feels efficient. I don't feel like I'm off the back. I don't feel like I'm reaching too far forward. Definitely feels like a nice balanced position on this bike. We made a little stop on a couple of our favorite jumps on this upper section of Tiddlywinks. Inside line, whoop, rock. Oh boy, she is loose. Stoked on these brand new Maxxis tires. Nose bump. Yep. Manual. Yeah. Soft berm. Tight. Yeah. All right. All right, folks. So I try to make a habit out of not letting any of our testers, myself included, look at any of the numbers on bikes before we go out and ride them. And the reason for that is because I don't want any of us to get like any preconceived notions or expectations or, you know, thoughts on how we think a bike might perform. We want to really just try to isolate, you know, any of that out of our mind and just focus entirely on what the bike's doing and what we feel that it's doing, not, oh, the head angle's this, so it should feel that, because I'm comparing it to another bike which head tube angle I know. So because of that, I don't know any of these numbers. I'm gonna read them off of this handy Santa Cruz PDF I just got in the mail yesterday along with this new bike. So forgive me for not having these numbers memorized off the top of my head. But we've got a size large, which has my favorite reach, 475 mil. It has 438 chain stays. Santa Cruz is joining with like a lot of other brands doing size specific chain stays. So 475 reach, 438 stays. Extra large goes up to 500 mil with a 442 stay. Medium goes down to 455 reach with 435 stays. So, you know, you're definitely getting a pretty decent jump in sizes between each of those bikes. Again, it's a 150 rear end with a 230/60 shock. You can run either coil or air, which is really neat. Max tire size is 2.6, which, you know, if you're running anything wider than that, you're doing it wrong. ISCG 05, threaded bottom bracket, of course. SRAM Universal UDH, Universal Derailleur Hanger. We've got, let's see, lifetime warranty, all the usual stuff. Rider support, everything that Santa Cruz offers that you've come to expect. We've addressed it and touched on it in every one of our videos on Santa Cruz bikes we review. So very cool, whether you need parts, bearings, replacement stuff, whatever. Again, Santa Cruz didn't pay us to make this, but we know from experience and just being in the industry for a long time, the guys at Santa Cruz, they're the real deal. They are authentic guys. They are riders and they get it. They don't want to be without a bike, just like any of us wouldn't want to be without a bike. So it's really cool that they're small enough yet big enough to still hold a value on that kind of core feeling and wanting to take care of their fellow riders and get people out. So definitely really cool. Our build here retails, I want to say, right around $10,000 and change, right? If you got 10 grand to spend, what's a couple hundred more bucks here and there? Let me look it up. But it's got the reserve carbon wheels on it, which are pretty awesome. We like the way those things ride. Great warranty. They hold up, they're durable, they last. X01 AXS, which is cool. They've got a higher end model which has XX1 AXS. And that bike I think is $1,000 more, so you get to save yourself $1,000 by going to an X01 AXS, which is totally fine in our opinion. AXS stuff is sweet, really easy. You don't have to worry about cable stretching, any of that stuff. So now let's get into the geometry. Size large, again, like I said, there's a high and low. Stack height is 637 or 635. You've got a seat tube angle of 76.5 or 76.9 and a head tube angle of 64.5 or 64.7. 0.9 degrees slacker, 15 millimeter longer reach, 20 mil higher stack than the previous Bronson. You know, following the trends, right? So enough of that. You can see all the charts on the website. I won't bore you with much more. Let's talk about how it rides. So again, today was our first day out on the new bike. We passed it around. We had 3 riders out. Sour Patch, as you see, he hopped on it first, conducted his wheelie test, which many of you guys know is a very important test. It passes. Next up, we gave the bike to Nick for a minute. He did some pedaling, being our resident XC guy, and hopping off of an Ibis Ripley and directly onto this bike. He was pretty impressed, actually. This thing pedals really well. I was talking about it myself on the bike. Like, it does a really good job, and we've got the thing set up at 30% sag. We were kind of rushing to get out and on the bike. It did really well with 30% sag. We're gonna play around a little bit with some volume reducers and sag. Talk to the guys at Santa Cruz, but we wanted to get out as soon as we could to get some time on the bike before this first ride goes out. Climbing, great. Geo dialed, in our opinion, for our riding style. We love it. It's short enough to where, as you can see, right, Bend has a lot of flat trails with some tight, twisty corners. Easy, like the bike's so good to snap. Like there's some kind of fun jumps where like you could kind of just pull the bars up and back, and you know, you could just feel the front end was right there. Manualing it, all that stuff was super good. It wasn't like you were reaching so far out. You know, some guys obviously might have an issue with the short reach, which 475 is not short, but you know, some guys love 495, I guess. And if that's the case, get on an XL, because they've got a pretty short seat tube, as you can see by how much we've got out, and we probably could still raise it a little bit at 5'11". So yeah, descending. All right, this bike, man, it is a blast. The tires, we didn't quite have enough PSI in there. The tires were rolling a little slow, I think. Could be a little bit of hub drag. We're not totally sure. It's a first ride out. Stuff needs to kind of break in. We get it. But it rolled a little slow on some of the flatter trails. But something that I was realizing just on this final bit, if I had to think of like a little analogy for this bike, it's like performance meets play, right? Like the 5010 is the play bike, and that's the bike where, like, if you know you like riding in cutoff jeans and no shirt and you just want to take BMX tricks to the woods, which is super rad. I'm jealous. I wish I could get better at those. You lack some speed, some stability, some of the stuff that a 29-inch wheel will bring, whereas the Bronson blends that beautifully. It's still short, snappy, playful, poppy enough to like give you that fun jibby feel. However, you get a slacker head-to angle, you get a 29-inch front wheel, and so you get a little bit of an increase in speed and traction and confidence to just push the bike a little bit harder when it's, you know, getting into the gnarly high-speed stuff. So I would say, like, man, this would be a great shuttle rig if you don't have the super gnarly terrain that requires a longer travel bike. If you've got a bike park that's not super chunky, super gnarly, or you want something that you can ride some mellower trails on but still take to the bike park, super killer bike. Like, I gotta say, after one ride, there's not a lot of fine tuning and tweaking that we want to do to this. It's gonna be, you know, maybe one more ride of like trying a couple things with some more PSI and a volume reducer, and, you know, maybe setting up, you know, rides on the bars a little different. But other than that, like, any one of us could keep riding this bike as is and be totally stoked. It is a sick machine, no doubt about it. Man, Santa Cruz keeps making me eat my words. I don't know, for a lot of years I was a pretty anti-VPP guy. Granted, that was before they went to the lower link, but if this is what VPP is doing now, I'm a fan. They're doing a good job. So like I said, one ride, 3 guys, you know, a couple hours out in the woods. We didn't get a lot done, but we got enough to know this thing rips, and we're definitely gonna be fighting over who gets to test it the rest of the time. So stay tuned. We're gonna put a lot more miles on this thing, be shuttling it. We're definitely gonna take it up to Bachelor, hit our local bike park, and report back on how this thing holds up after a summer of abuse in our long-term review. So thanks to Santa Cruz for getting this thing out early to us. We really appreciate it. And of course, we appreciate you guys watching all our videos. Without you, brands wouldn't want to send us these awesome bikes to test. So thank you so much. Please comment, subscribe to the channel. That would be awesome. You could support us by buying some sweet merch. We got these gloves, jerseys that are made in the USA. We got all sorts of cool stuff in our web store. That would be hugely helpful. And we would love it if we saw more people out on the trails wearing our jerseys and gloves. So thank you guys very much. You're awesome. Have a great summer. Enjoy this new bike, or whatever bike you're riding. It doesn't really matter. Just have fun on the trails, right? Enjoy. Dirt's good, sun's good. Everybody love life. Have fun. See you guys.